Nico and I first met back in August 2017.
We met at the wedding.
I was going to England because I was going to be a bridesmaid in one of my close friends' wedding.
I didn't really knew anyone there except the groom and the bride.
He had already caught my eye, not in a romantic way, but just in like a I noticed you way, because he was this tall white guy with dreads and an unkempt beard. So he already like stood out in the crowd. So halfway through the night, my fellow bridesmaid was talking to Nico, and I walked by them and she stopped me and said, "Hey Eliana, this is Nico." And we ended up just having a conversation, and next thing I know, Sarah, my fellow bridesmaid, was gone. We just had a great conversation. It was a really deep conversation. It went for a very long time, and it was very life-giving, very energizing.
The conversation I had with Eliana ministered to my heart, but not in an awkward way. At one point we started to talk about what is God's intention for human beings.
I remember coming back to New York and still thinking about that conversation. And so that's how we met. By the end, we said goodbye to each other. We said, it was great to meet you. And I was like, "You're always welcome to visit in New York." And he was like, "You're always welcome to visit in Norway." And I thought, yeah, okay, I'll never see this guy again.
This is why I reached out to her the next day, because I just want to say thank you, because this conversation was really good for my heart and was really healing for my heart.
So I wrote back, and then we just kept talking, texting, messaging, and he kept asking a lot of good questions, as he does, and then it turned into video calls.
So I was very intentional with my messages. I always made sure that there was a question at the end of every text, so that she has to respond to me. I was intentional about that. So it was only 2 weeks after the wedding that I booked my flights to New York.
I was like, oh shoot, this guy took my invitation. So it's November, early November, and Nico arrives. He comes to New York City. And at this point, nothing was set of like, okay, he's coming, we're gonna date, and
So when I was in New York City that week, I was looking for, quiet moments, and I was praying a lot at the time, and every day in the morning I went to Central Park, prayer walking.
I think we both were trying to just discern what is best right now, especially because long distance relationships are not easy, and we both are very careful about doing God's will and not being like, I'm just gonna follow how I feel.
On these prayer walks, I agree with God that if she would bring me to a certain very specific place, that I would ask her out, and if not, then I would be okay with that. My prayer was that we would go to Shake Shack. So we had fries that night, and I asked her out, and she said yes, obviously.
For our first 7 months of dating, I believe, we were long distance. Of course, there are great things about it, and there are challenging things about it.
I was very grateful for it, even though it was hard at times to be on distance, but it caused us to talk. So we had a lot of deep conversations.
When I came back from Hawaii back in 2015, I was really on fire and passionate about practical ways of living the gospel. But I just came to a neighborhood that I wasn't familiar with at all, and my parents were already busy with the stuff that they had to do, and I didn't have anyone who I could team up with to bring the kingdom, basically. And that was the first time I had a realization of, oh, I think I want to get married, to serve, to have a partner with me wherever I go, to serve the kingdom so that I'm not alone doing it. And I acknowledged it, but I kept moving on. January of 2017, I felt God asking me basically to pray for a husband. I thought, okay, I'm going to commit this to prayer. Like, if God has a husband for me, then I'll pray about it. And if he doesn't, then I will be at peace about it because I'm praying about it. Fast forward to that summer of 2017, our staff at Theater 315, we all went out for a retreat. And the question was asked, what is your prayer for this upcoming year? I felt God saying to me, okay, Eliana, you need to share a personal one, a personal prayer request. So I just said, my prayer for this upcoming year is I'm praying for a husband. So my whole team prayed over me as I shared that prayer request, and a month later I met Nico.
The relationship really strengthened my faith. From, I had a lot of doubts, but, God was really solid. He showed up very solid, very supernatural in this relationship, and I can't really doubt much anymore. So, it will be one sentence, is like, God is actually real.
If I were to sum up what God has done, or what God is doing in our relationship, it would be that he is sanctifying us by using each other, that God is faithful, and we can put all of our trust in him, even though you don't know what the future holds, and that God's promises never fail. We're experiencing, I for sure am experiencing a deeper level of holiness by being in this relationship.
Is there anything that I don't admire? I admire her for the relationship she has with Jesus. So I admire her and I thank her for the time she invests in that. And that it is her first priority in life. Was that too cheesy?
I am marrying Nico because I love him, and because I really sense God's hand in this relationship, and we prayed a lot about it and really sensed the Lord's direction, and through various detailed confirmations, this is the main reason why I'm marrying Nico.
I'm getting married to a very beautiful person, and I keep her, I'll treasure her.